South Africa's top gold producer is making a high-stakes play in copper. Harmony Gold has announced a $1 billion acquisition of MAC Copper, the owner of one of Australia's oldest and highest-grade copper mines. Well, to unpack the deal and what it signals about Harmony's future, we're joined now by the company's CEO, Beyers Nel. Beyers, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you, Devan. It's good to catch up with you.
Yeah. Look, this is Harmony's biggest move in copper yet, right? So what made MAC Copper, and specifically the CSA mine, the right target at the right time for Harmony?
Yes, Devan, copper assets are hard to come by. I mean, there's got some scarcity value to them. I mean, there's a scramble for copper in the market, given the longer-term fundamentals of copper. So, it's difficult to find copper assets to buy. What makes the CSA mine of particular interest to Harmony, it's an underground mine, and that's deep in Australian terms. And if you think of Harmony's skill set, running the deepest mines in the world in South Africa, we bring a lot of expertise around geotechnical issues, rock engineering, ventilation constraints. And these are some of the technical mining challenges that the CSA mine has. And we think as Harmony, we could come and add value to the operation, bringing that skill set, with the collaboration with the skills on the mine, to bring additional value to shareholders of Harmony. And it's, of course, copper. Harmony has been intentional about, copper gold as a combination that we want, to have in our production mix. And this brings copper nearer term and Eva Copper, which is a project we own, and Wafi Gold, which is longer term.
Yeah, which leads me to my next question. I mean, this isn't just a diversification, isn't it? I mean, it's a signal that Harmony sees a strategic future in copper. How does this reshape the company's long-term identity?
Yes, I mean, copper brings the commodity diversification. So, obviously as a pure gold player, you are, exposed to commodity cycles, and copper brings that diversification for us. It further brings geographic diversification. I mean, it's in a tier 1 mining jurisdiction, New South Wales, near the town of Phobai in Australia. And if you look at Harmony's production profile by FY25, we would have, a big part of our production ex-South Africa coming outside of the borders of South Africa. So that reduces jurisdiction risk exposure for us, and it basically just keeps a diversified portfolio geographically, and copper and gold, which are the metrics we like.
Beyers, you're offering a 20% premium in an all-cash deal. I mean, given the reaction on the markets, how do you justify the valuation to investors?
Yes, I mean, we think it's, we've done extensive due diligence, and we believe it's fair value. And if you compare that to recent benchmarked premia in copper, given the scarcity value of copper, those premia have been in excess of 40%, some even as high as 50 and 60%. So, we believe, at the levels where this deal is pitched, it's both, a good deal for MAC Copper and a good deal for Harmony shareholders. So, we feel it's fair value, and we think Harmony skill sets, again, can come and tap extra value. Is it obviously also, a lot of blue sky potential at the mine from a resource to reserve conversion potential, in particular the Merrin mine, which is a shallower part of the ore body. And we're quite excited about bringing that value. I mean, Harmony's got a proven track record of, buying assets and, that are mature and reinvesting in those assets, extending the life, and creating extra value for our shareholders.
Now with CSA in the mix, I mean, can you walk us through your copper production goals? Let's say in the near to medium term, what are you looking at?
We've been in Australia for 30 years, supporting Papua New Guinea. We have got a skill set there and IP and some phenomenal staff. So, this for us is a natural extension or leveraging the capability we have in Brisbane, supporting Eva Copper, which is a transaction we announced in 2022. And then also now, if we close this transaction. So, and what it would do, if you just consider CSA mine and Eva Copper, if you combine them, that would bring Harmony to about 100,000 tons of copper per annum production, which makes Harmony a significant player in the copper market. That's substantial copper production, 100,000 tons per annum in a tier 1 jurisdiction of Australia. So, very excited about that.
South Africa remains your gold stronghold, but costs and complexity there are rising. I mean, is this pivot a signal that Harmony is moving away from gold-heavy operations there?
No, not at all. I mean, we're actually deepening, these mines, or some of these high-quality mines, particularly the mines we acquired from AngloGold Ashanti in South Africa recently. So, we will be long South Africa and long some of these mines for a long time. What we're about is good capital allocation decisions that drive value. And some of the value, as you've recently seen in the performance of our share price, which has outperformed, you see how these deep mines, particularly the high grade ones, are good businesses. And, given this gold price, these are, high margin assets, high quality assets. So, we would extend the life of those assets as well. So this is not a signal that we'll be leaving South Africa. We're headquartered in South Africa still, and we've got long life production in South Africa. This augments the portfolio with jurisdiction diversification, a little bit of early copper into the Harmony production mix, which just grows the company and creates additional value.
Great. Beyers, and lastly, as I let you go, I got to ask you this. I mean, how in heaven's name are people reading the gold price and what's happening to it at the moment? You ask anyone, you'll get a different answer in terms of what the future looked like. But how are you reading what's happening with gold at the moment?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Devin. I don't have a crystal ball, and neither do you, or neither does anyone else. So we obviously enjoy the proceeds of this fantastic gold price that we have. But, as Harmony, we say we choose to focus on what we can control, and that is not the price of gold or the price of copper. It's the underlying health and the underlying performance of the business. So good cost control, good safety, good productivity, the necessary flexibility in our minds so that we can deliver consistent, predictable production. So, and that is what we're about. So if the gold commodity price or the copper commodity price plays alarm, that's when you're in a really good position. The worst thing you can be in the miner is when the commodity cycle, the upside comes, is not to have the safe ounces to sell. So, that's been, I think, the good thing in Harmony. It's not only that we enjoyed good prices, but we've been able to deliver consistent, predictable production. 9 years of meeting and exceeding our annual guidance, and that's been the recipe for Harmony's success in the last 3 years.
Well, fantastic. Listen, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, Harmony CEO Beyers Nel. Thanks very much indeed for your time.
Thank you, David.